Yeah, that means nothing, right?
What was that? What's that sound?
Right?
It's aliens, and they're
got your
living in your town. They have arrived. They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared?
What up,
of
weirdos
aliens?
out there in
Well, you
Weirdo
should
Land?
be.
It's the Weird and Whatever gang, and we are very excited to be in your homes, your cars, your brains, your eyeballs, and hopefully there's no glitching. If there's some bitching, there's glitching, Dennys.
The two do seem to correspond.
And you are telling me there's going to be no glitching tonight.
I mean, so far the forecast seems well. We shall see, as, meteorology is a soft science.
We are going to definitely talk some shit about meteorology today. No, I'm kidding. We respect that science. It's a great science. People always get mad, though. It's a weird thing, the shit people get mad at. If you get a weather report wrong on the radio, people will call for your head.
They take it so personally.
And I always want to say, motherfucker, look out your window.
Yes.
Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
Thank you. All right.
But, I mean, same with traffic reports, man. You get a bad traffic report, that'll ruin people's days, which I get because you're trying to get to work. You're trying to get your stuff done.
Google Maps is pretty accurate nowadays.
It's really good. Actually, all of them are pretty good now because they have the traffic feature. It shows you all the traffic people reported, and it's immediately cleared when people report when it's cleared.
Yeah.
You guys vouch for this Google Maps you speak of.
Oh, yeah. I'll change route based on what it's given me back.
VIckie, your thoughts of this Google Maps?
I'm stubborn. If it tells me there's a traffic jam, I'm like, nah, it'll be over by the time I get there.
I'm old school like VIckie. I love it. I do want to make a quick note. If I'm talking weird or I'm slurring, it's not because I'm hammered. Well, maybe there's a little bit of that, but I had a wisdom tooth taken out today, and it is just giving me a fit of pain. I'm not going to lie. So I did a couple whiskeys, cowboy style. Just to,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, well, Beckett. I was kind of surprised how much pain I was in. And I don't like taking the pain pills. Pain pills really turned me so nauseous. They gave me I love my dentist, by the way. Love them. They're the best I've ever been to. But I can't do that kind of, I think it was Vicodin. Do you do well on that kind of stuff, VIckie?
I've never had a full pain pill in my life. I've only had like a half of a pain pill one time, and it like knocked me out. So I don't do pain pills.
Right before you fell asleep, were you tripping balls?
No, I was really hot.
Beckett, your thoughts on the pain pills? Do they make you nauseous or?
Not really. Apparently, before a surgery, I was flirting with the nurse. So it was like
Shocker.
Yeah.
You want a martini with those pain pills.
I'm so shocked about that.
My mom was in the room. It was embarrassing.
I wish I had audio of what you said to her.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't go on Twitter. And Sweet Dennys, you're not a pain pill guy either.
I'm allergic to most of them. I'm allergic to codeine, so any of the good ones I definitely can't take.
Yeah, they make me itchy, methy.
I can't
scratchy.
even take them. They'll like kill me. It's one of those big allergic reactions, so it's weird. So I can't do any like the Vicodins, the Percocets, any of that stuff.
Every now and then, I'll take one if I'm in a great deal of pain, and it doesn't make me nauseous, but
How about laughing gas? Have you done laughing gas?
I don't think that's so 1989.
I've done it.
Do they still do it?
Yeah.
For what type of procedure?
You could do it for like laser hair removal, like.
Is it like mild pain, but you still have to be kind
I
of
think a lot of those I think some dentists still use it. It's just nitrous oxide.
Really?
Yeah.
They use it on kids sometimes, like in
dampens
order
the
to get the IV in.
So
they'll give
kids
them a little
make
bit of
sense.
laughing gas to chill them out, so they can get the IV in.
So what is laughing gas?
It's nitrous oxide.
All right, and that it would be the equivalent of a like a Xanax?
No, I think it gets you
like a whippet.
Yeah, I'd say like a whip.
A
It gets
whip
you like
it?
yeah.
Yeah, it gets you kind of loopy.
Lightheaded.
Yeah.
I've never done a whip in my life, so I don't know that feeling.
I think
okay.
it's the same stuff in that.
Might be actually. I'm not sure.
Now I've definitely got down to some whipped cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it, Beckett. All right.
Yeah, it just kind of dampens the pain, I think, a little bit. Like alcohol. Like drink a lot of alcohol. It just kind of makes you less sensitive to it.
VIckie, were you an alcohol drinker in high school at all?
No.
When did you get turned?
Honestly, I did not get legally drunk until 2004.
I love it. That's awesome. That's great, man. I love it.
I mean, I had alcohol, but only to get a slight buzz. But the first time I was actually drunk was 2004.
Do you remember why you got drunk?
Yeah, I went over to a teacher's house and she had a bunch of shots.
Damn.
Did you go over there to get drunk?
No, we went over. It was like a little social, and I stayed after everybody else had left and just kept doing shots.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
I love it.
I think it might sound cheesy, but I think doing those kind of things, you kind of get mental callousing in a good way, like some resilience, you know?
For sure.
Like, you know, in college, first time you get drunk, it's sloppy, you know,
Oh,
like you do
yes.
something stupid, whatever. Not to say I don't do anything stupid later in life, but I think that I feel more comfortable, and I know it sounds weird to compare doing an Ironman or, you know, some kind of crazy endurance thing, but you kind of feel some comfort in chaos or pain, you know? Like when the first time, like, you do edibles, like, you know, you freak out. And then, like, you get to a point of you're okay with, like, you kind of ground yourself, you know? Because it's almost mind over matter, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It does. No, there's good falls and bruises, and there's bad ones.
Right.
The bad stuff comes after you start drinking too much or do any of that bullshit. The one thing I want to start getting into, VIckie, everyone wants to know about the ghost update. Now, I'm going to just turn it over to you, and you've had a good 2 weeks to kind of go through this stuff. Now, let me at least ask you this. Have you gone through all the footage?
Not all of it completely yet. I did have a bunch of people come over and help me. I had my 2 team members, my daughter, and I had another person come over this past weekend because I decided I could go over and have a split screen and have 2 cameras going at the same time. However, when we caught the curtain, we decided that there was too much of a chance that we would miss something if we are looking at 2 cameras at the same time. So I have been doing the cameras individually to make sure. And literally, you can't blink because paranormal activity could happen that fast. That's why I like to have someone there with me while I go over it in case it was my turn to blink. Hopefully it wasn't their turn to blink.
Yes, you need 2 on guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would like people just to keep in mind. This is a very long, tedious process if you really want it done the right way. And that's how you did it the last time. That's how we were, you were able to find the ghost that came down, or the spirit, or whatever it was that was on my chest. Now, would you say you've gone through at least a couple cameras through the entire night?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. I went over what I considered the most important camera, which is the camera that we caught the curtain. And that was the one that was on you. And I want to thank you for some comical moments, by the way. Watching you. Just saying.
I warned you about the end of the video.
I know, but I had to watch it. Like, I couldn't turn away because what if something paranormal happened?
I mean, VIckie, we got quite turnt that night before. But a couple of the things that I would like to definitely address with the audience, especially with the skeptics, you know, me and you are in this thing, so we care about it. We want people to see what we see, and if they don't, we want to at least explain ourselves. And I know the big knock was big fucking deal. It's a curtain. It could be a draft. It's the air condition. It's the wind. Blah blah blah. ... The floor is yours.
12 hours of watching the footage of that room. It does it twice. My exact terminology to my daughter, because she's the one who first caught it. Because you got to realize when you're looking at a screen, I could be looking more towards the left. I could be looking more towards the right. She caught the curtain first time. Then it happened 7 minutes later. The first thing I said to her is, okay, now we have to go back and double check to make sure it didn't happen before and make sure it doesn't happen again afterwards. That would rule out air conditioning, fan, door, and I think some Einstein said something about your dryer vent.
It could be.
I like it. Get him, VIckie. Call them motherfuckers out.
First and foremost, I'm going to repeat again. I don't want to label something paranormal when it's not. That's no fun. That's like faking an orgasm. If you fake an orgasm, he's never going to get it right. Okay?
Who does that?
Trains
Wait,
him improperly.
That's a thing?
Hold on, I think I hear our audience clapping. Okay, I love it. This is great.
So I want it to be true activity.
Yes, you do.
Okay? So I had to make sure that it wasn't any of the natural factors going on that moved. Now, the curtain does not move. It turns. Whatever it was takes the curtain and turns it so you can see the lining on the other side. It's not simply movement. The reason I'm stressing that is because the IR lights create a roll that go like this. And I know people some people were trying to be helpful and said, oh, is there a shadow, blah, blah, blah. That's the roll of the IR lights.
When you say go like this, just in case someone's just listening to the audio, what do you mean by that?
They basically, there's a dark shadow that's created by the IR lights that continuously rolls up the film. So it looks like there's a shadow that rolls up, then it starts back at the bottom and it rolls up. Because of that rolling, I couldn't accept the other times where it looked like the curtain just moves, because it was an illusion created by the IR lights and the black roll that was going through. It was significant that the curtain turns so you can see the lining, because that has nothing to do with what was happening with the IR lights at the time.
Can you remind us what IR stands for?
The infrared.
Okay.
Okay, that's how we're able to see in the dark.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do want to make sure the audience knows that I have, and you're going to have to take me at face value here. I have, even after the footage, I have deliberately put a fan on that curtain. I've tried to open up the window or the door.
The doors, which are heavy, by the way.
Yeah, and I also want to address that. People said, well, it was windy that night.
No.
Tweet. It was windy that night, Jaybird. Twitter. I have hurricane windows. It was locked. You can't, it's very dry.
And I want to address that too, because when you wake up and can't locate your phone, you go outside. You go outside several times. You open that door. You walk through that doorway. You close the door. You come back in. We did this several times that night, by the way. And then it doesn't move. Anytime you actually have the door open and you're walking through, it doesn't move.
Okay, Becky, you're a skeptic.
A big one.
So you hear VIckie tell these tales of wind and no wind and curtains and turning. Thoughts?
I'm a big fan of being open-minded. So, Dennys and I caucus well on this, and I think that, I think we're open-minded. We're open-minded. We ask the right questions. I believe I'm biased.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. And I want to see the footage. I'd love to see the footage.
Motherfucker, you haven't seen the
didn't
footage
see
yet?
it?
Good God.
It's all over YouTube. And
I
you
haven't
didn't
seen it.
been
I've
out
been
for-
working. What are you
It's been out for
talking
10
goodness.
fucking
I haven't
days,
seen
man.
Man's got
it.
a life.
Rolls in at 5:59.
Yeah, we
Hasn't
wait for
even
him
seen
every
the
week.
fucking footage.
5:58.
So you gotta watch the. I don't know. We were
Audience,
Greenwich
our
Mean
boo
was saying
audience.
shit. What? Pull up some footage for him.
No. On his own time,
You
Denny's.
gotta
On his
do
own
it.
time.
Fair enough.
He's a big boy. He knows what he did.
Fair enough.
He's a big boy. He knows what he did.
I hear you.
And I do want to address in regards to a comment that someone made about the EVP saying it would be more believable if there was a camera on the recorder. Well, as a matter of fact, there was a camera on the recorder.
Damn.
Shots
Just so you know.
fired,
Twist.
VIckie.
Twist.
VIckie says,
Just
"Fuck
so you know. Anytime that we do a session, like in your house, for instance, we had a camera straight at the front door shooting and a camera on the side shooting. The recorder was on your carpet in shot of that said camera. When we did the EVP sessions in your living room, there was a camera straight on us. So you can see our recorders, you can see the spirit box, you can see everything on the camera.
So one of the things I'm anxious to give out to the public was when we have our Joe Ponton here, and if you don't mind, Joe Ponton, you were there to witness this. If you could step up to Denny's microphone really quick, he was the one that got me excited about that because he was watching me play the guitar, and all of a sudden, when I was playing the guitar, orbs did start to come around me in a different manner.
In a different way.
Yeah, and
Completely different.
Ponton, go ahead and explain what you saw.
They would come in from out of nowhere, and there was one that it was really large. It focused right in the middle of the camera, and it was extremely bright, and that room was pitch black. and then it launched away.
But
And
what
we
w-
were all like, "What the?"
What would be
I
different?
wasn't the only one that was like,
What
"Holy shit."
Ponton's describing, Vicky, what's different than that than just a regular light orb that some motherfucker would say it's just a dust bunny?
Well, I can't completely call it evidence. However, one of the things we look at is the pattern, the size, and what it does. If it literally stops in front of you like it's looking at you, it's larger than the other ones, and then all of a sudden it takes off. Again, I can't count it as evidence, but I can certainly count it as interesting, something to note.
I believe, too, one of your ghost investigators said that when the music started to play, they did start to almost dance in a rhythmic kind of form around me that was different. And I'm hoping we do have that footage.
Yeah, everything's on the DVR.
Absolutely,
That's-
it's got to be on there because it was everywhere, and each camera kind of lit up. It was going almost in a sequence. It was amazing.
Well,
I thought it was really awesome.
When somebody says, or when you say, you go, well, I can't count that as evidence. Why is that not evidence?
Because I can't positively prove that that has anything to do with the spirit. I can prove beyond my shadow of a doubt the curtain thing, that there's nobody behind your curtain, that it's not your air conditioner, that it's not your fan. Even when you open the door, that can't be recreated. That was not a natural movement of the curtain. It turned to see the underside, the lining of the curtain. Whereas an orb, yeah, it still could be really rhythmic dust, really, special water droplets. It still could be. And in the paranormal field, we do not count orbs as evidence because legitly, there is no way that we can prove that it's anything other than dust.
Well, I see you say things like, the dust could be dancing in a rhythmic fashion. And then I see a Ponton shake his head. No, why you say that. So my question to Ponton is, why are you calling Vicky a liar?
Never said that, Vicky. You know I love
No,
you.
I know. But there's a lot of people that do. I mean, people get, excited all the time, and they'll send me pictures of orbs, and they'll say, blow it up, it has a face in it. That's matrixing, because our minds want to take the abstract and turn it into something that is concrete.
Like a
so
cloud.
So we do that all the time. I'm saying in the field, we do not count orbs as evidence. We need to have something else. Is it fun to watch? Absolutely.
But do you think if we put the music to the video and had those orbs, that's worthy of public?
Well, the skeptic would say that you were strumming the guitar. There could have been dust particles on the guitar, and they danced in the rhythm in which you were playing the guitar. That's what I'm saying. That's what irritates me when I take something that I have vetted, that I have sent to numerous sources and marked as paranormal. That's why I get upset, because I could find a logical explanation for that.
Well, why is Ponton turning bright red
Can
right
I
now?
ask a question, Vicky? How awesome was that to watch? Because all of the
It was
whole
pretty.
team, we
Yeah.
were sitting there going, "That's really cool."
It was
and
pretty.
Everybody
Yeah.
was saying the same things.
Yeah.
I understand you
Yeah.
you want to always
Right.
stay on the path of what can be proven. That was really awesome, and I only watched it for a minute or two. And it was as soon as he started playing, within like 10 seconds, things started to come around him, and every camera lit up with something different.
Well, the only reason
was
why
awesome.
I keep bringing that up is I've been telling you, even off the microphone, I feel something weird happen anytime there's music going on.
Right.
And I'm feeling that there's a connection to that. And that's why I keep bringing that up as a theme the last 4 or 5 weeks. Does that happen when it comes to ghosts and spirits? I could be completely wrong.
Well, I need the spirit to do something more concrete. I need
Play
them to,
play fucking Wipeout on the drums.
I need them to, manifest. I need them to do something other than be an orb.
I love it. Joe Ponton, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
That's very
Thank you.
nice.
And one thing real quick on the planes that you have hanging up, one covers that air vent that would be blowing on that.
Thank you
That-
for the backup.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that air vent's not even near what we got.
Yeah. No.
Sweet Dennys, I think with all of so Vicky, the last thing, the question, just because I have to for just do I have spirits in my house right now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Other than Jameson?
I got some if you want. If
Sure.
you need, if you need some.
Okay.
Other than the whiskey.
I think with all of that, VIckie, that was great, very, very good, and we're gonna keep updating everybody as she goes through the footage. Oh, you know what? While we're at it, let's end it with that one EVP, just for the people who did not hear that. This is what I know what everyone's got a different opinion what they think this EVP says. I've heard it a billion times. I'm convinced it says "dead man." That's what I'm blocking in. I want to see if y'all can hear this. I apologize if you have heard this EVP, but this is one of the ones that I thought, well, I mean, you're saying it's a Class A.
It's a Class A.
All right.
Starting a subject.
And,
Alright, starting a subject. Alright, starting a subject.
I mean, you hear.
I know there are some people that claim that it says "that man," but I don't hear the.
oh, I mean, even
I
if
hear
it's
duh.
that man or dead man.
Either way, that's
It's
something is saying that it's not Beckett. We've confirmed that, and there was no other male on the team. Everybody was in the backyard at that time.
That's what makes me scared, because if it says dead man or that man,
What if he's
and
like
if it
that
wasn't
man?
me, I was the only guy in the room.
So chat room, let me know, Dennys, if you don't mind playing that one more time. Let me know. Can you hear at the end
Jeez, I
a
just
male
started
voice
thinking
go,
about
"dead man," or can you at least hear the male voice?
Alright, starting a subject. Alright, starting a subject.
I mean, I hear it. Becky, you hear it, right?
I do. It almost sounds like a oldie radio.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Well, it reminds me of the old-timey music I'm listening
Oh, right.
to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
crazy.
Sounds like
That man. You know,
Some
you do
people
that.
said-
You know that voice you do.
Yeah, some people said Batman.
Well, what happens with
It's
an
the bat.
EVP is typically you have to have headphones. Usually they're not that loud. When I came over here the next time that we met and I wanted to eliminate the fact, did anybody think it sounded like Beckett? Because I knew he was the only one in the room, and I played it for everybody. There was a little party going on. I played it for everybody. Every person was able to hear it without headphones. That recording you have is me taking my phone and pressing play, because you asked if I had the EVP. I didn't have my computer with me. I simply took a video of my recorder.
Yeah, that's not even the best version
No.
of that audio. And that's, I mean, to Vicky's point, that is shitty ass audio.
secondhand audio.
Third hand, honestly.
And
it
everyone
really is.
knows after I make a quip, I have an annoying laugh afterwards. You know? There's no way I said something funny and didn't laugh
Look,
afterwards.
First of all, that's not your voice. Second of all, you're right. You would laugh at it. And third of all, I love your laugh. I don't think it's annoying at all.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
think it's endearing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's a great way to end the Ghost segment. We're going to keep you guys posted. And I'm over here just trying to conjure up some shit, and Vicky's just trying to figure it all out. And I love it. I think with all that said, it's time for some
Dennys Random Facts.
Oh, sweet Dennys. He does a great job, and he works real hard just mining all of the great factoids out there.
Scouring the
Just
internet.
scouring, working hard. Vicky,
Tirelessly.
she's going to guard that gate. She's going to
yeah.
say, you can get in, but it better be good, bitch. If it's not, I'm giving you a B, C, D, or an
I got
F.
to get out there and start tilling the land.
If Dennys can till the land well, he gets an A. If he kills the land, he gets an
Oh,
F.
jeez.
Dennys, oh, sweet Dennys, the floor is yours.
All right. Have you guys heard of these? There's regions of the Earth where inhabitants clearly exceed the average life expectancy of the world population. They call these areas blue zones. Currently, only 5 are known to exist. There's one in Japan, Italy, Costa Rica, Greece, and California. And they don't know the reason to why people live longer. But I looked up some of the theories, and then I thought about these. If everybody just kind of followed these, I think everybody could just live longer in general. So if you guys would mind bending an ear. So the first one I saw was just move naturally. They said not necessarily even work out or do anything to extremes. Just moving naturally and doing normal things consistently throughout your life, even just down to watering your own plants in your house instead of hiring somebody. Little things like that can help increase your life, but also the second one I thought was pretty important. It's called, basically it's purpose, but they have a translation from the language that they derived it from. Why I wake up in the morning has increased people's life expectancy by about 7 years. So just having a purpose in your life increases life expectancy.
Let me ask you something before I get a grade from Vicky. In your personal opinion, why do you think something like taking care of a plant would make you live longer?
Taking care of a plant?
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, even if you just wanted to boil all these down to just taking care of a plant, there's actually a bunch of these in that in itself because you're caring for something. You're moving around.
More layman's terms. Yeah, the quick hand. Why do you think things like that would possibly expand a life?
Well, so think about it. I mean, not to use movies or cinema, but a lot of people identify with that stuff. But in movies, when a person has something to live for, they usually gives them that last moment drive at the end of a movie, the climax or whatever you want to call it, or even like if you've seen the movie The Professional. He survived so he could kill the bad guy, so to speak.
It gave him that will to live.
And I think that will is important, not only just in life expectancy, but pretty much everything you do,
VIckie, thoughts? Grades?
Well, he has more, I think.
There's a whole bunch.
He needs to add something to it, so.
Wow, I'm over here fucking. You got me,
the
dog.
blue zones
One of
them
them's plant based, and blue zones. There's a book on it.
Well, so one of it is definitely diet.
Yep.
The plant slant, as they call it.
The
in
plant
slang.
slant. I like that. I haven't heard that.
Yes,
yet.
yes.
I just can't with the plant slam.
Well, there's a bunch of stuff, but one of the main things they noticed, and they call it the right tribe, the world's longest lived people were born into it just by the place they were born with the ingredients and all of the things that they possess in that area keeps them alive. So this study, I guess, is based on keeping yourself alive longer based on these 5 zones. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the blue zone.
Oh, I have. I read the book. It's fascinating.
I love the Dennys, but it ain't it.
It's
I
not
ain't the
about you.
professor here.
So the blue zones are the largest concentration of centurions, people that have lived over 100 years. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's fascinating, and they walk to work. They have a sense of purpose. They, to Denny's points, like it has, they've teased out in terms of like statistics, like high corollary factors, all of these things that are amazing.
Yes.
But being a vegetarian, plant-based
is a big
pescatarian
one.
is a big part of it.
Basically, you got to eat more vegetables. You got to incorporate vegetables, but also
that plant slant. I like it. I would use that one.
caring for family and loved ones is also a major part of it.
I'm just delaying the VIckie grade.
I can't believe the side eye she's giving me.
I know, and you guys are in the blue zone.
I loved it, Denny. I was ready to give you an A at the first factoid part of it. VIckie.
Okay, if you were a student, originally I was going to give you a B, but as you were giving your presentation, some of your classmates took over, and one of your classmates had actually more information on what you researched. So I took your B and I dropped it to a C.
Damn.
What did Becky get?
He gets an A.
He hijacked your factoid.
The blue zone got me.
I
got blue
look
zone.
at him. Look, I know if you're not
I came prepared.
If you're not watching, Beckett is in a blue curtain with a blue shirt. It's just a fucking floating head right
And
now.
Vicky's got a blue curtain and a blue shirt.
They're in the blue
a
zone.
blue zone.
You got blued.
Becca's
Getting blown all over the place,
blue
Denny.
zoned all up in here.
All right, Denny. I'm a fan.
I hear you. I hope everybody lives 100 years, by the way.
All right,
Second one. More people have been to the moon. This actually goes to a point Bird makes a lot about UFOs. More people have been to the moon than the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. In fact, to date, only 13 people have been down there to the deepest depths, and 24 people have been to the moon, which is pretty wild if you think about it. We live right by one. It's like you live by these things and you never do that. But going into the air, we sent 24 people up there.
Look, you can't spell moon without ooh. VIckie, thoughts?
A B. I'll go with that one. Your ooh saved him a little
Nice.
bit.
I'm all about the camaraderie of
We're
classmates.
in this together, man.
It's a sect that's formed amongst us.
Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's just weird how we stopped going to the moon all of a sudden, and then, we can't afford it. No, we don't care about the moon. And fuck the moon.
Clearly don't go to the bottom of the ocean either. Like, what are we doing?
We need to go to the bottom of the ocean, but Denny's, I digress. Go ahead.
So research has found that cats have changed their pitch of their meows over the years to manipulate the sound of crying babies in order to grab the attention of humans so that they would feed them.
Babies,
So
milk.
the cat meows that we have heard now are evolved from the original cat meow more to mimic human sounds, so to entice them to be fed by us.
Becky, you're a cat fan.
I
Thoughts?
saw you making a bunch of faces about cats. It was semi-distracting.
I'm definitely more of a dog guy than a cat guy, but I like cats. They're kind of scary. They're like intense predators. Intense predators.
They just flip a switch and they're
Yeah.
all of a sudden back to
You
cats.
guys told me that bird, was it the bird story?
Oh, dude, decapitated
yeah.
bird.
The audience don't want to hear that
They're,
again.
they're intense.
They are.
Intense.
The audience can't hear that again.
Dogs can
I
get
can't- I
pretty
can't hear
dog
it again.
too.
Vicky, why do you hate cats so much?
I don't. But I think it's interesting because it was always known that Siamese cats can sound like humans.
For sure.
And now I do agree. He's going to get extra points because I do agree because I notice my cat's meows are different than cats I've had in the past. And they're not part Siamese or anything like that.
And I mean, you can always tell a cat and heat meow. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
very distinct, Becky. It's very carnal.
I started a car once and the lights came on and there was a mound of cats. It was like a giant harem. And
I'll take a
didn't
mound
even-
of cats over a mound of snakes.
they weren't
I'd
even
rather than-
scared. They barely even rustled.
It clearly had a profound effect on Sweet Denny.
Well, you ever see the movie Critters, where they all combine and then roll at people? That's what it looked like.
Well, I remember when me and you were rolling out of a KVJ
Oh yes, I remember too.
charity event. It was downtown somewhere, and it must have been, I'm not exaggerating, 50 fucking cats that came out of this dumpster area. We thought it was a large man doing squats, but it was 50 cats.
I think we went to we parked the car. We walked and we went to a restaurant. You were like tying your shoe or something. You put it on that wood pile and it shifted the wood, and then these cats just scattered.
I was like, why is that man moving? It's not a man.
Oh, the cats had like tufts of hair missing.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So that last one was the cat's meow, or
Yeah, that was an
Nice.
A. Just it sparked a lot of cute conversation.
Look at that. It's fucking adorable.
oh, you know, I had to throw that in there. This one's kind of just cool. I didn't know there was an opposite term. While some animals hibernate, there's also ones who estivate. Estivation is sleeping through the summer. Crocodiles, tortoise, snails do this, but the opposite of bears. So everybody always knows about the hibernation. There's also estivation.
Oh, I like that one. I got to give you an A.
Look,
Okay.
nice. Simple. Kept it simple.
Simple.
No
You
list.
didn't try to add any extra stuff. or extra credit.
Furthermore,
The two Jurassic Park guys didn't try to fucking take over the conversation.
yeah,
But, you
clever
know,
girl.
look, the factoids are made to spark conversation. If you feel it, speak it.
This one I pulled kind of for the bird.
Oh, baby, I'm ready.
The average person will spend a total of 3,680 hours or 153 days searching for misplaced items. Keys, cell phones, sunglasses.
100% me.
So that's average. So where do you think?
Oh, man. It's one of the things that I hate about myself.
Me too.
I really do. And I know it drives you crazy, Dennys, because you are a person that's very organized. It's a weird thing for me, and I think this is where OCD comes in. If I've got, for example, 30% on my phone, I know in my head I need to go charge it. It'd be the right thing to do.
Because you have the opportunity to charge it at that point.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I won't do it
Yeah.
because in an odd way, if I do it,
I get it.
I'm all weird.
I get it.
I'm all in fits
I listened
over
to
here.
an NPR thing saying procrastination is a sign of intelligence. So
Well,
it's like saying wine's good for you. I'm just gonna
I hear
believe, I'm
ya.
going to believe in the stuff.
Beckett, go on, please, because I feel like a dumb fuck a lot of the times.
So that
Vicky.
equates to just about half your year. It's
Yeah,
just
I-
looking for stuff.
I mean, Vicky saw it on the video. I couldn't find my phone, and it was at first it's cute. I can't find my phone. 10 minutes in, at 20 minutes, I start growing horns, and
And when you walked in at one point, I could totally read your lips. Like,
I was trying not because I knew I was being recorded, which is a terrible place to be when you are a little vulnerable, being recorded, and you can't find shit.
We were talking about the benefits of the iWatch, and I know you haven't been sold on it. One of the great things is I can just ping my iPhone right from my watch.
And your earbuds, right?
It would have saved you a bunch of time.
I'm a pacifist, and I want to fucking leg drop anybody who's got an iWatch. Oh, I'm so against.
I just hear it go bing, bing.
But you can turn it off.
Constantly.
You can turn it off.
Nobody ever does that.
No one
I
does.
hear
And
it all
then
the
you're
time.
giving a heart to heart. And then my dad stabbed me. Oh, yeah, hold on. Fucking Jane's texted me. It's the fucking worst.
There was a guy letting it ring, and he was reaching for something next to me. It was just ringing in my ear.
that's
I was like, "This is horrible."
It only takes you to get mugged once, Beckett, for you to be fucked in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could call 911 from my iWatch.
You're like, "Help! I'm being hit with shit."
Help! I'm not paying attention to the conversation I'm involved in.
I hear you. They're pretty cool, but
I get it. We'll
stand
get a manifesto
against
email.
them.
You guys, fucking
I just don't
iPhones.
need it. I think it's too much technology. Right?
Let's save this recording for a year from now when Jay Bird's wearing an iWatch.
It won't happen.
You're right.
I can't wear watches. They make my bones tickle.
Really?
All right, Dennys, as you were.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either because they rip out all the arm hair on there. It's terrible.
I'll wear them if I have a suit on. I like them for the night, but
Well, then it's an accessory.
they just really make my bones tickle.
Dude, how many more facts do you need here?
Oh, just 4 more.
4 more.
No, give us 1 more and let's have some fun. with
Maybe
it.
some people know this. I don't have kids, so I didn't know this. But I mean, obviously, don't try this. But newborn babies can't drown because their windpipes closed. They can suffocate. But newborn babies can't drown because their windpipes close as a response to being submerged. In fact, if you see photos of babies, you see often they're smiling and their eyes are open. They're designed to do that. That disappears after about 6 months. Obviously, never do that. But they won't drown. They'll just clog up. They just stop. They don't allow the drowning. Like I said, they'll suffocate if you keep them under there. But
Oh, okay. So they will suffocate.
they'll suffocate, but they won't drown. They will not breathe water into
Okay.
their lungs and drown. They're designed not to.
Vicky, give him his D.
A D?
I'm kidding.
That's insane. You only have
I don't
that
know.
for 6 months.
He made me think with that one, so I'm gonna give him a B.
Okay.
Because I
B
had
for
to think
baby.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job.
They can still suffocate. They just
Home
can't
run.
drown.
Okay.
They won't
Home run,
breathe.
Josh.
They won't breathe the water in.
Okay.
6 months. After 6 months, stop doing it.
Okay.
Obviously, never do that.
We talked a little bit about this topic on the KVJ show today, and I'm going to paraphrase. It was a very long email, Vicky, and I'm very curious of getting your thoughts on it. It's about a child. The mother reached out to me, and her kid is having really, really, really vivid deja vu. And it started off as a fleeting thing every now and then, during the kid's life. And now it's happening 2 or 3 times a day with the deja vu. Now, I'm a person that does experience deja vu. Kevin and Virginia seem to not really ever have that. I know we've talked about it before on the podcast. Beckett, do you ever experience?
Yeah, I've had it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. And it's kind of profound for me when it does happen. It's very clear that it's never happened to me before, or at least that's the appearance of it. Dennys, do you ever have this?
I never get deja vu.
Never in your life.
I don't think so. Ever.
Crazy. Vicky, Eva.
I've had it in the past, but I very, very seldom get it now.
Okay, so what's wrong? Who's at the door?
Some guy, Neil. I don't know.
Hold on. All right. Now I apologize.
Did you lock the door?
I did.
Okay.
Are they selling something?
Survey something.
Okay.
all right,
That's
yeah.
fine. All right.
I got hit earlier today.
Okay, I thought there was fucking a guy named Neil that how dare you say that on the air and he wants to kill
Or was
me.
he kneeling?
Yeah. So where was I at before the fucking
kid.
murderer? Yeah, the kid. Yeah.
Deja vu.
The deja vu. The kid's having deja vu, and it's happening more frequent now to where it's two times a day. Now it's 3 times a day. And then someone sent an email about how deja vu can be a medical condition if it's happening multiple times a day. Now I don't know if you've ever heard that. My question to you, Vicky: deja vu, spiritualism, ghost, all of that world. Any connection?
Well, the first thing I would, in order to figure out what's going on, I do think that you would need to bring in a medical professional to always rule that out before you look at something from a paranormal or, spiritual side. I would be curious does she say the age of the child?
Yes, 7.
That's interesting that he's 7 from a spiritual side, because that's usually when children lose their natural psychic ability. So I think it's very weird that it's at the age of 7 that he's having this. My personal recommendation, take the child to the doctor, rule out any kind of medical conditions that could possibly mimic it to, where he thinks it's a deja vu, where he thinks it's a memory, get that done first. And then after that, I would look into something more spiritual.
Let me play the DA, devil's advocate.
No.
Let's go ahead and say they go to the doctor. Doctor rules out all medical stuff. You say it's a weird age at age 7. Does that mean it's impossible for a kid to be gifted?
No, to me, it's very interesting that it's at the age of 7. Because that's when they tend to lose it. If this child is having deja vu, and let's just playing devil's advocate, deja vu is actually remembering something that you have psychically seen. You are predicting the future, and you have already seen this in your mind, and then something triggers and you see it again. Precognition.
So deja vu to you is a cousin, at least, of a psychic ability.
A cousin to precognition.
But you also are not saying it's impossible for a 7 to 9-year-old to have abilities. It's just not common. But it's
I'm saying that's when children usually lose their ability. So rather than lose it, if he's having episodes that can be proven to not be medically based, he's kicking everything up a notch at the age of 7 where everyone else is slowing down. So this could be a psychically gifted child.
Beckett, deja vu, you say you've experienced it before. What do you feel when it happens to you?
Sometimes like I get so focused and I tend to be very black and white, logical. And then I have these moments where I'm like, gosh, definitely experienced this before, and it's just like a sitting with it for 10 seconds. Then I'm kind of more, my mindset's like, just move on, But it happens a lot, and it does freak me out at the time, but then I just kind of move on. Because what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Dennys has never experienced that. And I wonder, too, if there's a correlation to people who dream vividly. And
There must be.
Because I dream very vividly. I dream every friggin' night. And there's been bouts in my life, kind of after my mom passed away, I think, where I don't remember dreaming at all. And it's kind of rare for her to ever show up in my dreams. So when she does, I always feel like it's kind of significant. But for the most part, ever since I was a kid, I dream big, and it's pretty damn vivid to the point where it's hard for me to not remember the dream because there's a lot of shit going on there. But it's odd. I don't think we've even scratched the surface of our sleep and what the fuck it means.
That's true. I agree.
Couple of Ask VIckie questions. Does VIckie ever see ghouls? And I want to get everyone's opinion. Do we believe in ghouls? And what is the definition of a ghoul? Have you ever seen a ghoul in any of your...
I've seen nature spirits that maybe other people would think were ghoulish.
What's a ghoul in your opinion? Layman's term.
I don't ever use that term, so that's not something that's in my vocabulary.
Ghoul.
Is that politically incorrect? Am I gonna get canceled?
No. I think you're allowed to say it. It's probably just a different word for ghost, kind of. They have like gas, ghosts, things of that nature.
Or maybe a ghoul's like a cross between. I always think of it, if I ever thought of it, like a cross between a zombie and a ghost.
Yeah, I kind of think the same kind
It's a noun, an evil spirit or a phantom, especially one supposed to rob graves and feed on dead bodies.
So that must be
So
the
that's where the zombie
differentiator.
thing that I got.
You,
Okay.
my friend,
That must
just got hired as the research department. I like that was quick. Yeah, ghouls to
That was
me,
fast.
they're slimy. They've got fangs. They're coming out of the toilet.
They
they're,
feed on stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to eat your fucking heart and spirit. Yeah.
Yeah,
ghouls.
so I've seen things like that, only I call them nature spirits.
Is that what when you say, because me and you were texting back and forth, and you said what you have at your house, I don't think is a...
Human. I don't think it's human. I don't think it's necessarily demonic.
So, but do you think it's one of those ghoul things you're talking about?
I think it would be some type of nature spirit. I don't think it's anything that's ever walked this earth in human form, but I don't also think that it's demonic in base.
So how do I... Is that
You're special.
Is that a common thing to have at a place?
Nature spirits are very common.
Okay.
It just depends on if someone has gotten one attached to him.
Is that little girl still here?
I have not come across her.
You do feel a female spirit, though.
The female is a woman.
She's like,
She's a woman.
I think she's horny, Dennys.
she's like, she's got a long cigarette.
I just feel a big... I don't know, Beckett. when I feel her presence, I'm feeling.
You're just hoping she's a succubus. Right?
Look, I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I just know.
Something.
I know. I sense kind of getting ogled, if you know what I mean.
How much JMO comes into that?
It, it takes. It can be with JMO. It can be without JMO. I wasn't drinking for two months. I wasn't drinking over 2 months, and I felt her spirit big time during that. But again, when the music started playing, that's when va vu.
She likes to dance, baby.
She likes to dance. Oh, she does, Beckett. Someone else wants to know. Ask VIckie. Do they have psychologists who just deal with paranormal activity?
Yeah, parapsychologist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you can go to college.
Duh,
for that.
bird. I'm just kidding. He just had the answer so fast.
I like Dick Dennys. No. So is that covered by insurance?
What do you mean covered by insurance?
Okay,
No.
if I
mean,
go
typically a person who has a degree in parapsychology, they usually continue to work for a university, and they are people that you call out, not to, be cartoonish, but the guys in Ghostbusters, they were parapsychologists. They were the research department of their college studying these type of things. A very famous one, Lloyd Auerbach, I think is how you say his
We
last
all
name.
know it. Yeah.
He was really big like in the 90s and into 2000. He's a parapsychologist. Now parapsychologists also go more on with that skeptical eye. Like they come in really trying to debunk the situation.
Can you make a couple guys feel good about themselves real quick and just tell the audience that we are an honorary Ghostbuster team, sort of, collectively?
You're right, though. In the beginning of that movie,
Why?
that's what they worked in, was the department of their
Right.
college.
And that's where you're going to find parapsychologists, usually working in conjunction with a university.
But you're not going to get charged for something like that.
There's some that might charge. There are some that their sole purpose is research. So they're going to want to help you because that provides them more opportunity to research.
And we're like the low budget Ghostbusters, right?
We've done investigations.
Yeah.
Yes, you're honorary
Yeah, all
members.
right, boys. Okay. We ain't afraid of no ghosts. Ask VIckie, can you specifically conjure up a spirit? For example, this is kind of a half bird question, half audience question. If I was trying to get a hold of Maurice Jefferson, the missing child, who we feel is probably deceased, we hope he's not, but can you specifically get a spirit to come and talk to you or show themselves and be there by you?
I do that in readings all the time. There's a difference between you use the word conjuring. That would mean more like, to me, that would be more like a seance type thing where you're purposely calling something and then you have the opportunity for things that are not Maurice to come through and take advantage of the situation. Traditionally, when I do readings, I ask the person to send me a picture of who they want to know more about, whether they're living or deceased. And so I, look at the picture and then that person comes forward for me. The other night I did a reading and she sent me a picture, but I got all these physical symptoms when I was going through my spiel. And as it turns out, there was somebody that wanted her to get information on somebody else that was way more important than the person she wanted to contact on the other side. So I did both, but I started with the one whose physical symptoms were coming through, which was a living person. So yes, that happens during readings, but for me, I have to have validation. So if someone sends me a picture, I start the reading, I say, oh, they did this, this, and this. This was their personality, blah, 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 blah. And I validate who they are first and then get the message. With Maurice, I would not be able to validate any of the information coming through. So for me, I'm very, in case you haven't figured it out, I'm very fact-based, and I want to have validation, and I want to prove that it's really true information. If I don't have anything to validate that it's Maurice, I would never even attempt it. I may attempt to look and see what happened to him if I look at his picture. I have worked with police departments on cases, and I have told them what I think happened. I've given them scenarios. I've told them places to go check out. I've been consulted on cases where they had already ruled that they were a suicide, And I said, no, this one's not a suicide. This is who you're looking for. This is what they look like. This is what happened. This one, yeah, I'm sorry. This really was a suicide. So I can look at things like that. But there's nobody to validate what I'd get if I tried to get with Maurice, you know?
Great stuff for Ask Vicky around right there. One of my favorite segments. I love that. We're going to turn the table to Beckett real quick. And we don't have to get into the logistics of it, but I know you like talking about this shit. I thought this was kind of a cool thing to talk about only because I'm seeing it in some of my circles. It says, Dear Weird and Whatever, how do I calm my friend down about the war going on in Russia? She is letting it dominate her life, and it's really annoying the fuck out of me. I love her, but it's tough to be around her now. It sucks because we live together, so it's been rough on our friendship. Anything I can do to make her chill the fuck out? And they're asking all of our opinion. It was a very lengthy email. I cut it down. I think the roommate won't stop watching the TV, and then the woman that wrote in said, stop watching TV. I don't think it's doing good. She's still doing that. What would be your thoughts? You got a buddy that is just worried to death about this situation. How do you try to help them?
So I'm a news junkie. I get really into geopolitics and things that I think that the world should care about. So first, I would say that it's okay to care about things that are important. I mean, things like that can, not to be, have a lot of hyperbole, but that could go into a nuclear holocaust, basically. I mean, you have two countries of somewhat parity that have, Russia has the greatest nuclear power in the world. So all of that said, my advice would be I have to call myself out because sometimes.
So your advice would be just don't listen to this podcast.
I have to call myself out and say that sometimes I get too involved, right?
Sure.
And this is kind of the first time that we've had a chance to watch war and war crimes and frankly genocide, like basically on TV. So I would say stop being a pacifist and be an activist, because whether it's a project that's coming up for school or something that I'm procrastinating on doing, I can mentally masturbate, as we say, about it for so long, and it gets on your mind where it's better just take action to it, whether that means that you're going to donate money to the Red Cross or whatever you want to do, and then you have to go about your business. So if I had a relationship issue, I could let that dominate my entire life at the sacrifice of my business or my family or my friends. So I think that it's reasonable to care, but you need to allocate the appropriate amount of time. And if you do that, don't be a pacifist watching the TV, talking about it with friends. If you're going to dedicate 10%, if that's what you deem healthy, then do something that's proactive, because I think it'll make you feel better.
Dennys, I mean, you could take the Russia situation. It's basically insert here. What's that thing that's really making you worried, bringing you down, taking that energy from the positive angle and then bringing it to the negative? What would be
What's my situation?
Well, not even yours. What would be your advice to whether it's someone being obsessed about Russia or having cancer and they don't have cancer? They get they get a health, a good bill of health, but they're still worried about it. What's your opinion or your theory or strategy?
It's tough because it's very nuanced. There's so many different things that could be. There's so many different ways to the situations. But I guess a generalized way, I would just say try to focus on yourself a little more. I just think there's a lot of all right. So humans just get good at stuff. We get good at anything we do a lot of, right? So if you watch a lot of TV and you watch a lot of politics, you probably get pretty, acclimated to all the languages and how they speak, and you start getting interested in the stuff, and you pick sides and all that fun stuff, and that becomes your sport. Right?
I wouldn't call it fun, but yeah.
But to an extent, I think some people do enjoy it. They
do.
So I read a couple Hunter S. Thompson books. I got into him because at first he's crazy on drugs, and I thought he's a cool author. I thought he had a cool story, right? And so I read some of his stuff. He was a campaign junkie. He followed campaigns around. He hated Nixon, so he would write books about following the campaign trail and trying to trash Nixon and stuff. But he was so consumed with politics that his later books all started turning into just political books. He stayed away from all the stuff that kind of made him
cool and awesome.
And then he kind of dropped out. He got real depressed and stuff and shot his ashes over Aspen, Colorado when he passed away. But so, but like, you know what I'm saying? He got consumed with that, and it changed everything. Once you add a new ingredient to something, it's a new recipe. It's a new thing. So if you introduce that into your life, you now are changed. You're no longer the same. You now are a different version of yourself, a new recipe of yourself.
So, some people say before you can save the world, you got to make sure your own house is clean. To your point,
Focus on your own stuff,
Well, I
and then
think-
you probably won't be so involved in other people's things.
it's kind of like whether you're a religious person or not. I've always been a fan of just the wisdom of the Serenity Prayer. You don't have to be a person that believes in God. There's certain things that are in your control in life, and there's some things you just cannot control. And when you legit truly get what you can control and what you can't, there is a sense of serenity. There is a sense of wisdom that comes to that. But the journey and the trick and the key is to be able to decipher, is this something I can control or is it not? If you're somebody that you're over here in America think you can control and stop Putin, that's not realistic. But to Beckett's point, get involved and put your energy in something that may be not just you sitting worrying about the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You might be in a situation where you're around other people being a little bit more positive.
Yep.
Other minds can definitely turn yourself into a better person.
Well, I think we've had a lot of conversations about this, and I think one of the problems with politics and people is everyone thinks things are binary. It's black or white.
Yeah.
And a lot of time it's nuanced. So the analogy that I would give, if your neighbor down the street's house is on fire and you got to feed your dog and you got to get ready for work and all that, it's not to say you can't go over and squirt the hose for 15 minutes, then come back, clean your house, get ready and go to work, you know? So it's not like you have to like, oh, I got to stay at home and focus on my stuff and I can't help my neighbor put out his fire. There's sometimes a balance of the two. You write to your congressman or you do something and then he says something on the floor and then that gets more weapons to Ukraine. And, I don't know. I think that if enough people do a small enough part, it makes a big difference, you know?
It does.
But it can't consume your life and you have to move on and you have to control what you can control. So I agree on that too.
It doesn't mean you don't care. You can care about something so hard, but you also can care about something so hard to where,
Too hard.
well, you're also taking yourself out of the game in your own world.
Right.
Think about this. If everybody legit just concentrated on being cool to the people that was right next door to them and concentrating on their one little corner of the world, if everybody did that, everybody was hashtag be cool, you had a pretty good fucking world.
Well, that's the annoying word, right? Balance, right? Like,
Yeah.
Working out's a good thing, but you can work out way too much and it's a problem. Working is a good thing. You can work too much. Drinking can be fun. Smoking pot can be fun, but you can do things to an extreme where it's too much. you know?
Yeah.
So it's important to have that balance and to have that certain angle on it. in my
Why is
opinion.
balance so hard? It's just the hardest thing.
Do you have a tough time with balance, Vicky, or do you think you've gotten it? The older you've gotten, do you think you have more of a wrangle on balance, or is it something that still eludes you?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good balance, but going back to the topic, I think that anybody who hyper focuses on things that they can't control are avoiding taking care of the things in their life that they can control if
Oh,
they
that's
do
good
the work.
observation.
I agree with you. I think you, again, like to Beckett's point, you can have multiple thoughts on a topic. It's not this or that. That's what I fucking hate about the media. They'll take all of these social issues and all of these matters of the heart issues and say it's either A or B. You can't have multiple thoughts about a topic. And my mission statement on life, my personal opinion, every single situation you get into has its own set of nuance, its own set of facts. Nothing really ever is a complete duplicate. Even getting a sandwich, it may be pretty fucking similar, but there's always going to be one little element that's slightly different. And when something's slightly different, you kind of have to examine it for what the whole thing is. Like Vicky does with the ghost stuff.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the
Full
ghost.
circle.
Yeah.
Full spectral circle.
Good stuff, Beckett. The good stuff, crew.
From the team,
From the team, everybody. I'm loving it. Good vibe here. A couple other things quickly I want to talk about. Someone said this. I definitely want to get you guys' opinion on this. It goes, my wife has gotten into voodoo. Do I need to divorce my wife? She's gotten into voodoo and she has changed for the worst. She has turned super negative and vengeful. I've asked her to stop all the voodoo stuff, but she refuses. In fact, she's even fallen deeper into it. We have a little son who is now scared of his mommy. What should I do? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm thinking about the D word. Any advice?
When you deal with things that are dark, it's going to come back on you threefold. What you put out in the universe will make its way back to you. So not using the D word, I think you need to have some kind of intervention to see if she's willing to stop, because she's not using those type of things for the positive. She's using them for out of hatred and revenge, and that will come back. And if they are in the household, it's going to end up some shrapnel on them.
I worked with the girl back in my old radio station who she hated this guy so much she got into voodoo. She went into his office and found fucking his hair on the desk, and was practicing voodoo shit. I wanted nothing to do with her, man.
Far away.
It was next level insanity. Radio people crazy,
They
baby.
go on the do not fly list.
Yes.
You come home, Dennys.
Jen's into voodoo.
I mean, knee deep into voodoo, do 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 do. I mean, into it, baby.
Oh, man.
And she's got the dolls. She's got the fucking pokers.
Called the witch doctor, told him what to do.
Yeah. She. Do you have a talk with her? Because
So voodoo, I would say, is probably ill in nature, right?
Right.
It's not
It's
necessarily.
ill-intended.
Yeah.
is it
doesn't-
always ill?
I rarely ever hear cases of voodoo being a positive thing. There tend to be some sort of, they're doing it for some sort of spite or some sort of revenge.
If we're
or
ignorant on the
vengeance.
subject, email us. Let us know if there's a positive voodoo.
I mean, New Orleans they're kind of proud of their voodoo history, aren't they? New Orleans, and then Haiti, I think's got a lot of voodoo.
That's why I'm going to say we got to make sure that.
yeah.
yeah.
But clearly states in there that her intent is not good. It is negative.
That I agree with, but I'm just saying. I'm just cleaning it up. If all voodoo, I don't know.
I hear
Voodoo
ya.
chips are the best chips we've ever
the
had.
best, my
They
favorite.
are my favorite. Although I get sweaty if I eat half of that.
They are very. It's a heavy chip.
Beaded sweat on my forehead.
But as you were, Denny's, we're talking voodoo. We're talking about ill intent.
Yeah, so
Jen doing
so
it.
I think just from what I've heard, at least, I feel like it's ill intent. So I would have to probably say something about that.
Okay,
if she
now-
was studying holy magic, what it sounds like it has a positive intent to it, and then I find out she's using it for bad. I could see that. I'd let it slide for a little bit, and then I'm like, hey, you got to stop now.
But this isn't always fairy tales and ponies here. Let's say
She gets really into
Well,
it. And,
you say, Jen, I don't want you to do this anymore, babe. Please, I love you. This is too much. It's like, fuck you. I'm doing this. Don't tell me how to live my life. She doubled down, which is going on in this scenario.
and then I'm brushing my teeth, and they start coming out in my hands.
Yeah,
I'm
like
like-
chiclets in your
Yeah.
hands. What do you do? I mean, if you're
you
married,
hate to break up or divorce, because if she can possess some sort of evil magic.
that's always my fear. You get married to somebody and they just go the other way, Vicky, and you try to talk them off the ledge, and
No,
then
it happens.
that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody changes that much, then I mean, you
Just
probably
write up no voodoo in the prenup. No voodoo.
imagine if you slid that in. If you slid that in, and then somebody did start doing voodoo, and you pulled that on. 'em.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
about-
The chat room.
I don't know if we
everyone,
helped.
Everyone, yeah, we did not help that scenario at all.
But taking the word voodoo out, if you have a negative person who is doing negative things, who is constantly negative, it is going to create more negative. Let's just take the word voodoo
Yeah,
out.
it
There
doesn't
you go.
matter what magic.
That's
it
fair.
is.
Yeah.
That's fair.
If you have ill intent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whether you're doing this secret, we all remember the secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you have positive intent and you're bringing back a loved one, but you have to gather parts for it?
Oh, Danny, I like where this is going. Yeah, let's
But you're
explore
bringing
this.
back you're doing it for a positive thing.
This is such a Tales from the Crypt episode.
It is.
Vicky's
It's actually
right,
a movie.
because I probably told you this before. Like I one girlfriend in particular I had where she would purposely try to make me jealous, and I'm not a jealous guy,
Ugh.
and I would get so angry,
Ugh.
and I would tell her, I'm like, I'm not angry because I'm jealous. I'm angry because you're trying to make me angry.
I see your weak ass game, and it's annoying.
It's one thing if I
it's
get-
one of my biggest pet peeves.
Ah.
I can't stand it.
It's one
Good.
thing if I'm angry because you did something
Yeah.
and then we have to have a talk about it and then you understand and you don't do it again. But if you're like purposely trying to like
110.
cause a negative emotion, we're done.
I'm not typically a jealous person. I think everyone's got a jealous
Yeah, of
side.
course. For
Everyone
sure.
does, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
typically not a jealous person. It fucking it's such a pet peeve when someone's got to play these little fucking
yeah,
games.
that's the worst. That's
Ugh.
the worst.
All right,
Get
Red flag.
together.
all right, Vic, I'm reeling it back in. All right, I had a great time tonight.
That was
guys.
great.
That was great
It
fun.
was just fun.
Thank you to our audience.
Woo!
But I want to make sure I don't blow it because I said I want to end each podcast with a local musician who does their own music. You know, I put it at the end of the podcast so it's not intrusive to y'all. Now, this is Louis Angel. He is a listener of ours. This is his song. If you guys are a local artist that write your own music, please send it to jasonpenningtonkvj@gmail. And I'm going to play it at the end of the podcast. Anyone have anything to plug before we get out of here?
If anyone's going to the USA men's soccer game this Sunday in Orlando for the World Cup, I'm going to go up and watch it. Holler.
Good. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime we go out of town, we always love meeting the great people.
Yeah,
VIckie?
yeah.
Anyone who needs to set up a reading or you need help with paranormal activity in your home, please send an email to Nancy, Nancy, 38Drew, DREW, @AOL.com.
I love it. I would be honored if the audience starts taking us out with some cheering. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Louis Angel. The song is called Want to Fly. Thank you, guys. We love you all. Bigfoot is real.
No sound, can you hear me? I'm so loud, screaming till my lungs go out. I cannot save this pain. You say that you